video today, we are going to be talking about the true cost of what it is to be a breeder here in Northern Maine, especially when you're dealing with French Bulldogs and brachycephalic breeds. Please take note, you will see me throughout the video redirecting my granddaughter, and there are situations that are unsafe situations that you can see I've had to redirect. I've kept that in the video because you need to see what to watch out for when you have a puppy with children. So the reality is that no matter how much experience young children have with puppies, they always have to be monitored because they do forget, and they are just babies themselves. Enjoy the video and hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Miss Anna wants to say hi with her little Milo, who's going to be leaving us on Saturday. Today we're going to talk about the true cost of what it takes in Northern Maine to run a breeding program like we do. And the reason why I want to talk about it is because it broke my heart yesterday when I had to disappoint somebody. So what happened, let me make, that one is Smudge. So it saddened me, when I had to inform the person that had previously adopted a puppy that the prices were not the same that they were a year ago. And the reason for that is because we've had to make some really serious adjustments to our program to keep on going. With Nugget's last litter and with the emergency situation that we had, it was a very scary situation, and potentially we could have lost Mom and we could have lost all the puppies. I don't want to say thankfully, but it's unfortunate we did lose one, but it could have been a lot worse. Okay. So with that said, we really had to reevaluate what we wanted to see our program to be, and we even tossed about, do we really want to continue doing this? Because when we have crisis situations like that, hold on just one moment. Anna, can you put him down? If he falls, he can break his leg. So please put him down. No, I want him down. Thank you. Okay. So with that said, I really had to reevaluate. Do we really want to continue doing what we're doing? Because when we lose a puppy or we lose any of our dogs, it really hurts our soul. You know what I mean? So for us in our rural area, we are very limited on our emergency veterinary services. So all of our dogs, we feel, due to the challenges of being brachycephalic breeds are more prone to need C-sections. Do Bostons always have to have a C-section? No, they're less apt to need a C-section. However, there is still a high risk. And we've been seeing that over the last 2 years since we've been solely focused on them. Mimi's got to get you a t-shirt in just a minute. So yeah, it was raining this morning, so they put a sweatshirt on her. But anyhow, so with that said, in the last 2 years, we've dealt with a lot of crisis situations. And when our vet is not open, or if we haven't scheduled a C-section with our vet in advance, we don't know if they're going to be available to do that C-section. So it's going to be legs, no. It's going to be dependent on his availability, their availability. Can they do an emergency C-section at that time? And if they can't, then I'm looking at quite a distance drive, the hours drive. And in hours, that's the difference between life and death. Okay. So with the last crisis situation, and we were really, to be honest with you, at that point, we were almost ready to throw in the towel. We were like, okay, this is it. We're just not doing this anymore. We have a passion for this, and we're always looking at bettering our program. So after everything kind of de-escalated, we had to revisit a conversation that I had with my vet at one point about just automatically doing C-sections for all of our dogs. C-sections for us here in Maine is different than in other locations. In other locations, you can look at a C-section that's going to cost you $600-800. But in our location, no matter where you go in the state of Maine, and trust me, I have looked, I have researched, you're dealing with C-sections anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000 for the breeds that we do. Anna, please be gentle. So I want you guys to also watch in the background how I'm having to redirect Anna. She's 3 years old. Yes, she has been around puppies for a long, long time, but she still is a child and needs supervision. So, but anyway, back to what I was saying. So we have come to the determination now that we are going to absolutely have to do 100% C-sections. And with that, we really have to adjust our prices to reflect that. So, you know, when you're looking at a breeding program and you're looking at the level of care really determines the price, or it should determine the price, unless you're dealing with somebody who's unethical and just looking for their pockets, okay? So right now, for example, we have Violet, who was just recently bred. Between traveling, between progesterone testing, between, hold on one second. So I took the cap and I put it on the counter because I was afraid that the puppies were going to get hurt. And she goes, well, how am I going to do their x-rays? So cute. So as you can see, she's very involved with what we do in the breeding program. So with Violet right now, she's had 3 progesterone tests. We've had to do some traveling, quite a bit of traveling. So we've had over, 800 miles already due to, so the 800 miles, we've had 3 progesterone tests. Progesterone tests, depending on where you go, run from anywhere from $130 a pop to $400 a pop, okay, depending on where you go. So we also know that her C-section is going to be anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000. The progesterone tests are already $600 plus. We also know we have to do an x-ray and an ultrasound. The ultrasound is scheduled for the 8th. No, yes, the 8th of July, just to confirm pregnancy. And then after that's done, no, they're fine. They're just playing, honey. Then after that, we have an x-ray the week that she's due. And then, of course, so by the time, just with the breeding and the stud services and everything else, we're looking at over $7,000. So that's not including the whelping supplies that we need to have on hand. We have to replace those. We just purchased an incubator. We've purchased a light. We invested in a website. We've invested in a program. We invest our time in making sure that we're as authentic as possible with our YouTube channel, our private messages, our private group to anybody who's adopted. There's a lot of things, a lot of time and money that's already invested in this program. So, there's a lot of hidden costs, especially when you're in a rural area. Long distance vet traveling, multiple trips per pregnancy, emergency access limitations. I mean, we're spending hours going to an emergency vet if we are unfortunate not to be able to get a C-section done by my vet. Loss of time when you're hours and hours on the road. We lose holidays, which is part of the breeding, but at the same time, it happens. So with the fuel costs that Anna, lease, I do not want to see that again.
He wants to do a roll.
No, he does not want to do a roll. You want him to do a roll. Gooba gooba. So, brake wear and tear, unexpected repairs, depreciation on our vehicle because we're putting so many miles on there, Limited resources, no reproductive vets. We have an excellent vet, but he doesn't specialize in repo. You know what I mean? So he's gonna, we're gonna be asking him to be doing things that he typically doesn't do. But what I can thankfully say is that my vet takes on anything. He is not shy. He's not scared to take on anything. So I'm very happy with that. So yeah. So, I mean, we keep on absorbing a lot, and we need to, we really need to have our prices reflecting all of the expenses and time invested and so on and so forth. We do bring on females into our program, and like, for example, Miss Nuggets, she's only had one litter, so all of the money we've invested to get her to the point of breeding, it's not a waste. I'm not going to say that. We know she's healthy now, but at the same time, you don't know what each female will bring to the table. Some, they don't bring any. Some, they bring one litter. Some of them, we do have a max amount of litters that we will allow our females to have, because their health is what's important. A natural whelp female can potentially have more litters than a dog that needs a C-section. Every C-section, every time they give them a C-section, it's just like us human beings. It causes risk. It causes wear and tear on their body. So if you've been watching us for a while, our dog's health and well-being is our first consideration before anything else. And it is nothing for us to retire a female if there's ever any doubt that anything could go wrong. Are they underneath the couch? So with that said, I know it weighs heavy on our hearts, but we have to be realistic, and we have to look at, trying to stay lower than market value. That's our biggest thing, is trying to stay lower than the market value, and trying to make sure that these guys are very well taken care of and they're healthy. On another note, we have decided to add another expense as well as the C-sections, as we are going to be DNA testing each individual puppy. So that way, when they go home, they are provided with that DNA. So people can have more of a peace of mind that their puppies are in good health, and go from there. So anyway, I hope you got value into this video. Miss Anna wants her meme attention. This is the first day back from the weekend, and she's like, I want you to pay attention to me. And you know what? I don't blame her. We'll love these puppies more this morning, and we are going to get our week going. Oh, in closing of this video, I do want to say that the two puppies are going home on Saturday. We will be doing a live stream on Saturday at the pickup location. Due to the distance in travel, we are meeting up, and we will go from there. All right, have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.